one. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to morning meditation. Today, the facilitator is Reverend Jane Howard. She is pretty much a regular here and has been so for the whole entire season. So you probably already know her. So let's just get this out of the way and just give her a warm welcome.
Okay, and Nick is a regular also, so thank you, because Nick by default has had to work with everyone that's been working here, so he's the real regular. And again, thanks. I thought I'd like to talk a little bit this morning before we go into meditation, and we'll do the breath work, breathing in, about Thich Nhat Hanh. He wrote a book, Creating True Peace, that I read a number of years ago, and I'm sorry I do not have a copy of it at this point to show you. However, there are a couple of little snippets that are in there that I'd like to talk about a little bit, because we live in a world where there is some chaos and confusion and frustration and disbelief sometimes. And what he would do, when he was experiencing that kind of confusion or anger or frustration or conflict, and he was North Vietnamese, so they were in a great deal of conflict. And at the times that he was writing, they were in conflict with the French, which I think had some of the Vietnam conflict things going on. And so he talks in his book a couple of times about the French army and invasions. And so there were all these things that were on his mind, and the conflicts that he was trying to struggle with. And what he would do in meditation was, if some of this conflict or some of these thoughts bubbled up, he would smile on those thoughts, or he would smile on that feeling. So, for example, if he was feeling frustrated about something and he was in meditation and the frustration came up, because things like that do bubble up, he'd say, okay, well, I smile on that frustration. So it was a way of having compassion for his own frustration or his own anger, his own um, inner turmoil. And so I want to bring that in, because smiling on it also brings an ingredient of peace. Okay. And peace is what we're working on putting in reserve, in a way. And this next little part, he had a situation where the French came to the monastery where he was, and they demanded all of their rice. And what he ended up doing was saying to the French army, okay, take everything that we have. And the other monks were in disbelief, because they couldn't believe that, or I think it was Thich Nhat Hanh that was in disbelief, because the master of the monastery, the head monk there, the guru, the yogi, gave everything away. And so he confronted, you know, um, the master about this, and the master said, "Well, I gave them everything that we had in that storage bin. However, I've been putting some away in reserve in case this would happen." And so there was more in storage in another location than there was in the storage that the French had taken. So he was putting aside that kind of stuff. So as we meditate, as we breathe into our meditations and sit in a peaceful vibration and energy, we're storing, some of that peace, some of that compassion, um, that goes along with meditation for the times that we do end up in conflict. And so sometimes it's an intentional space, but sometimes you might want to try and store some in your knees, or some other place that might not be the regular place that you would store things. So with all of this, we're going to breathe in the peace and the understanding and the smiles from all of the cosmos and around the universe. And we're going to breathe in the peace and the nurturing healing from our feet all the way up to our head. And we're going to open that crown chakra And breathe in that divine light. And as all of that light and love and peace and all of those smiles from the divine, because you know the divine is smiling down on us with great peace and compassion. We breathe that into our heart space, and as we exhale through our meditations, it exhales and ripples out. And I'll bring you back in about 20 minutes.
Slowly and gently shift your breathing. Bring your attention back to your body where it's sitting in its chair, on its cushion. Begin to wiggle your feet and your toes. And as you're breathing in, again, breathe in that peace. And as you exhale, exhale some of that meditation peace to someone who needs it. And then exhale some of that peace into the reserve, into your personal reserve for peace. Stretch a little bit. Open your eyes when you're ready. How did everybody